Hello and welcome back to Dadvice. Thank you very much for stopping by. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about health and fitness for new dads. I spent a lot of time on the channel talking about mental and emotional well-being, so I thought it was about time that we delved into the topic of physical well-being as well. I'm going to talk through a little bit about my journey with health and fitness over the years. I'm going to go over the 3 categories that I think most new dads fall into when it comes to health and fitness. And I'm going to give you 3 top tips to keep on top of your health and fitness journey, whatever your goals might be. Now, before I get into the video, I did want to say, if you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. You can also follow me over on Instagram at DadviceOfficial. And last mention is that I am going to be doing a Q&A video. So if you've got any questions that you feel haven't been answered, whether you've been going to parent classes or reading books and there's still some queries that you've got on your mind, send them my way. I'd be really happy to help. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So health and fitness. I thought I would start by just sharing a little bit about my journey so that you've got an idea of where I'm coming from on the topic. I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not qualified or anything like that, but it is something that I've been interested in and taking part in for most of my adult life. For me, it all started out at school. I was really into sports. I played a lot of football, I played a lot of rugby, and I played a lot of basketball as well. When I was about 18, I suffered a pretty nasty knee injury, which basically ruled out any kind of contact sports from then on. By the time I went to university, I was pretty much focusing on basketball. I was playing for my university team. I was playing at local league level as well. When I was a lot younger, I played a little bit of county stuff too. So that was my main sport. That was my kind of go-to during certainly my kind of late teenage years, early 20s. Where I first started getting into the gym and lifting weights and so on was through that. So I'm 6'1", and at the time I was pretty skinny kid, and I really struggled to kind of compete at the level that I wanted to. I thought, well, if I get in the gym and I hit the weights, I can kind of bulk myself up a little bit. So that's really where it all started. I was probably about 18 years old when I first started going to the gym properly and regularly. When I left university, my first kind of proper job was working at a health and fitness center. It was a really nice one, and it wasn't, as I say, I'm not a PT or anything like that. It was actually a kind of management job, so I was behind the desk, but it was really awesome for me to be able to just get in and train whenever I wanted to. My hours were pretty flexible back then as well. That's what really sort of cemented the kind of health and fitness side of things in my life as a sort of permanent fixture. And it's been that way pretty much ever since. I mentioned at the start of the video that I feel like new dads probably all fall into one of the following 3 categories. So you're going to have your dads that have no experience, they're new to exercise, but they want to start. They're looking at that sort of longevity, they want to play the long game and they want to get fit. And you have the dads that used to be really into it and they've sort of fallen off the wagon a little bit, maybe because baby has arrived, they're a little bit pushed for time and they're looking to get back into it again. Or you've got the dads that have been into it, it's been part of their life for a long time, and now little one has arrived, they're trying to work out, well, how do I keep this going? How do I keep this momentum from slipping behind? And they want to keep on top of it, which for me, that was probably the category that I fell into. Now, whatever category you find yourself in, I'm going to give you 3 tips that I hope will help you in your journey with health and fitness, all right? So tip number 1 is to adjust your expectations, match your goals to what you are realistically likely to be able to achieve. If you're a new starter, if you're just coming to this fresh and this is your kind of first time really kind of trying to get into sort of health and fitness, don't go nuts and kind of go, oh, I'm going to buy the gym membership and I'm going to get a whole new gym kit and new trainers and just throw the kitchen sink and I'm going to be going 5 times a week. Don't go crazy with it, all right? If you're new to it, just build up gradually. Work it into your life, all right? That might start with just doing something once a week, or it might start with maybe a few times a week, but just sort of 15 minutes. Start gradually and you'll find it so much easier to stick to. And yeah, you might not get the sort of glamorous like, oh, check it out, I've only been running for a month or whatever, and look how much weight I've lost or whatever it might be. But 6 months down the track, a year down the track, oh my goodness, it will pay off. Just start gradually, work your way up from there. You'll thank yourself down the line. If you kind of already know your way around a gym or a weight room or whatever, and you're looking to kind of keep it going or get back into it, as I said, adjust your goals, bring your sort of expectations in line with the new life that you've got, the amount of time that you have. Now is not the time to embark on entering a Mr. Olympia contest, all right? I'm sure there are people that can do it, but for the overwhelming majority of us, that's just going to be biting off way more than you can chew. A realistic goal, in my opinion, for a new dad is really just a sort of process of maintenance. If you can get into decent shape before baby arrives and you can hold that and still look as good 6 months down the line, then I'd say you're absolutely winning. Trying to make significant improvements at this stage when you've got a newborn is going to be very, very difficult. Now, when baby has been around for a few months, maybe you'll start to have a little bit more of a sort of schedule. Maybe things will run in a little bit more of a predictable pattern that is going to allow you to expand and get back into kind of actually trying to make some progress in something. You know, trying to get your 5K time down or build some muscle or whatever it might be that interests you. Linked to your expectations and your goals is tip number 2, which is find a routine that can be flexible. If you're starting out and you're trying to follow a routine, maybe it's one that you found online, there's tons of them. If it involves training for an hour and a half a day, 6 days a week, you're never going to be able to stick to it. You might, if you're really lucky and really dedicated, be able to hack it out for a few days, for a week or two. But you're never going to stick to it long enough to actually see the return from that. I would suggest doing something that is flexible, and that if you're a new starter, start with something that you can do in your living room. Get some resistance bands or just do some body weight exercises. Joe Wicks, the body coach, is great for following for 15-minute workouts. I'm sure you've heard of him. If you haven't, come out from under that rock you've been under for the last couple of years, because he is everywhere, and with good reason, because he's giving people a way of kind of keeping on top of their health and fitness and getting workouts in that doesn't involve expensive gym memberships or loads of time every single day. Go and check his stuff out, but generally following some kind of HIIT routine, maybe that will work for you. If you can just jump out in the garden or just clear a space in the living room and get that, you find 15 minutes 4 times a week, that's a really great place to start. Having that sort of flexibility in the routine, not only the routine itself, but also when you're going. So this is something that has shifted and changed for me over the years. As I said, I used to work in a gym. I used to go in, I'd do a couple of hours work, get the emails out the way, then I'd go and train for an hour, then come back and finish the rest of the day's work. It was amazing. I had complete flexibility at that time. When I then got another job in another industry that I'm still in now, it became an awful lot harder. And to start with, I started going after work. So I was going at sort of 6:30 in the evening. The place was packed. I could never use any of the equipment that I wanted to. There was people everywhere, and I hated it to the point that I really did stop going. I was only going once or twice a week. And I really started to suffer for that I didn't look great, I didn't feel great. And it got to the point where I was like, enough's enough. The only thing for it is to go first thing in the morning. I started setting my alarm and getting up, an hour and a half earlier than I had to get to work. And I would go and train. And, I was going there and training before I'd eaten anything. I didn't have time for breakfast, so I'd go and train first. And this is before, fasted cardio and all of that kind of stuff was really popularized in the way that it is today. I could not, get my head around it to start with. It was only because I'd got to the point where I really felt so out of shape that I really snapped and something had to happen. And that's what drove me to do it. Fast forward sort of 5-6 years of doing that, I now kind of prefer training that way. I quite like getting up in the morning, first thing, getting it done out the way, sets my head up for the day. Until recently when baby arrived. Baby tends to be awake and quite interactive and very cheerful in the morning. So for me, going in the morning before work meant I was missing out on all of that. So I kind of sidestepped the morning workouts and I'm back to working out in the evening again. As with all things, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but the reason that I share that with you is because if you're currently watching this and you're thinking, there is no way I'm getting up before work, it's never going to happen, and I don't really have time afterwards, just stick with it. Give it a go. If you've got a slot that you can find in your day, use it. Just use it, even if it doesn't seem particularly palatable to you at the moment. Just use it, stick at it, and as I said before, 6 months, 12 months down the line, you will really, really thank yourself for doing it. And tip number 3 is something is better than nothing. Perfect is the enemy of good. And this so applies to new dads because so often you're going to feel run down. Maybe you're not sleeping very well, and then you're going and possibly having to get through a day at work, sitting at a desk, whatever it is you do. The last thing that you're going to feel like on certain days is then getting into the gym. Equally, you finally get a couple of days off or something like that. You want to spend as much time with baby and with your partner as you possibly can. And to go off and go to the gym can seem counterintuitive. My view on that is, where this has been a kind of fixture in my life, and even actually if it's something that's new to you, health and fitness is so important. For me, taking 45 minutes out of the day to go and train my body, keep myself fit, to me, that's a great trade-off, and it gets the endorphins going. I'm in a better mood. It makes me feel like me. So then when I'm with my family, I'm really with my family. Huge thing that I hear all the time is people really struggling with that consistency. It's like, how on earth do you find the time? How do you keep it up? I can't go to the gym for an hour, 5 days a week. I think I've already crossed off some of that in the video so far. But if you're still kind of thinking, I really don't know how I'm going to make this happen, make something happen. Something is better than nothing. Even if it's just a sort of 10-minute brisk walk around the block, that is something, and it's better than doing absolutely nothing at all. And go at it again tomorrow and try and do something a bit more extensive the following day. But I hope those tips have been helpful to you. Just to recap the 3 of them: remember to adjust your goals, be realistic, find a routine that works for you and your family that you can work around, and something is always better than nothing. But it's not always easy. I'm not going to pretend that it is, but I really, really hope that those 3 tips will just sort of get you on the road and get you to start thinking about it. It's so important that we look after ourselves emotionally, mentally, and the physical well-being is such an enormous part of that. There's study after study after study that proves it. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope it's something that you can put into practice, and that whatever health and fitness journey that you are on, that it helps you along your way. As I said at the beginning, please do go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Go ahead and hit that like button as well. I really, really appreciate it when you do that. Thank you so, so much for staying to the end of the video. I really appreciate that. And I'll be back with some more Dadvice just for you very, very soon. All right, take it easy.